Well, good morning. Boy, Deuce Salt Senior checking in this morning. I hope my camera's working all right and you can hear me. I'm using my little wireless Rode transmitters and receivers today. Today I'm going to attempt to make steel cut oatmeal bread. And this is going to contain 2 1/2 cups of flour, which is 300 grams roughly. A half a cup of oats, which is 60 grams, a teaspoon of salt, tablespoon of yeast, and the wet ingredients are going to be 10 ounces of milk, and I've rounded it up as 296 grams, but I rounded up to 300 grams, which comes up to exactly 1 1/4 cups of milk on your good old American measuring stuff. Okay. We have the milk out of the way. There's 2 tablespoons of honey going in here, which is 42 grams, and 3 teaspoons of oil, which is 42 grams. So I shall get going here, and I'm just to let you know, I'm not sponsored by Red Mill, but I do use Red Mill Active Dry Yeast that I keep in the fridge. And I'm using Red Mill quick cooking steel cut oats that cook in 7 minutes. So that's what I'm using today, and that's pretty much what I eat for breakfast 6 days a week is oatmeal. So I shall get going with this and see what we come up with here. So I'm going to be doing this in my KitchenAid. I have measured out the 2 1/2 cups of flour, which I'm going to toss right in there. I'm going to save all that measuring for you. And there is my 1/2 of a cup of salt. Salt, yes. 1/2 cup of the oats. Now comes the teaspoon of salt. And the 2 teaspoons of yeast. Okay, well that takes care of the dry ingredients. Let me step out of the way for a second here. Grab my utensils that I need to use for what I want to do here. First I'm going to take and mix the oats in with the white flour and the yeast. And I'll fluff up everything, get the flour all blended in with the oats. Don't mind me this morning. My back is giving me a little bit of fun and games, and kind of affects me just a bit here. All right. Now what I'm going to do here is I don't know if you can see that, I kind of make a pool right in the middle. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to put the oil in. And I get my right measuring device here. I'm not having a good day today. It's one of those kind of days. All right. Someday you win, someday you lose, and today I'm losing. All right. I knew I'd find it sooner or later. So I am going to put in the standby one. All right, I'm back. I'm going to correct myself in mid-flight here. I had a question in my mind, and I went back and checked my other little notes that I made on this, and this is actually 2 tablespoons of honey and 3 tablespoons of oil. So now we're back on the right track. I hope everybody doing better at keeping on the right track today than I am. So anyways, I am going to put the oil, 3 tablespoons, in with the milk. 3. And the reason I'm doing that, there's a method to my madness, is that I'm going to put the honey in after, and that is going to be 2 tablespoons, if I remember correctly. And watch what happens when you put the oil in the spoon first and then put the honey, or could be molasses, anything sticky that don't want to come off the spoon. And you don't have to fight with it. Not my idea. Something I got out there on the interweb. That way I get it good to the last drop. There we go. Pretty empty. So what I'm going to do now, move these goodies out of the way now that I've used them. I have a very small kitchen, or I should say counter space, big kitchen, but small counter space. So I have to move things around a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to warm this up just a little bit. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds at a time. I'd like to get the milk up to 90 to 100 degrees, no more than 110, I guess, is what they say, to get the yeast to get cooking and happy. So while we're waiting, I'm going to take a load off my back here and let the nuclear reactor do its thing. Okay. Oh dear, where did it go? Okay, I took a quick break there for a second, trying to track down my thermometer. And I think that's going to take a little bit more. I do not want to go too far, because what it's going to do is I'm going to have to wait till it cools down. I think we got some time here, so in she goes again. Another 30 seconds here. That milk was cold, so stuff happens. All right, appears we have critical mass here. According to this, it's settled out at 100 degrees. So I'm going to mix all these goodies together, get the honey mixed in with the milk and the oil, which will separate eventually, but I like to get it all blended in nicely before I toss it in there. Okay, we'll call that blended in. Okay. I'm going to take a chance that we're pretty close here. I may have to add a little bit more flour. That happens sometimes. Or a little more liquid. But like I said, the machine is going to do the hard work, I hope. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to bring it over to my KitchenAid. I have the dough hook on there. I'm going to put it in, lock it, put it on low speed, and let it start to do its thing. I'm going to pause this while it's kneading the bread. Well, I'm back. The mixer has done its job. The batter is quite wet actually, and but I'm counting on the oats in the cooking process pulling out a lot of that water. At least that's my story. I'm going to try to stick to it and we'll see what happens. There it goes. I hope you can see it going in there. I'm working probably backwards for the camera, but oh, this is so much fun. Getting that last little bit out of there. It's kind of like sticky. Okay. Like I said, I have oil the bowl, so there's a bit of oil on there. And we're going to let the batter rise. Hopefully, that's what it looks like right now. I'll put a cover on that and give it a half an hour or so and see where we're at. When I do Salt Senior, checking out. Well, I'm back. This has been a little bit of a mixed up operation here, but we're getting there. We have the nice rise. I'm going to give it a little tap and it'll drop down a little bit. And I'm going to attempt to get it out here and see what happens. Dump it out onto the flour. Oh, look at that. Isn't that scary looking? It's like a monster coming out of there. I'm going to give it a little help. I'm going to give it just a little bit of help here. There we go. A little help from our friends. Okay, I'm going to try to make something out of this. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on top here because all right. Yeah, I'm working around a little bit here. Pick up some of the flour. All right, I'm going to start working it a little bit here. And I'm not going to overdo it, but I will blend it in a little bit here. Oh, nice and stretchy. I can see all the oatmeal in there. All right. Try to work it in here a little bit. I'd have to put a little bit more flour down here. Okay, my pan here. I'm not going to be very fancy with this. Oh. See if I can't get this little guy right in there. And I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to let it. That's the way it's setting right now. It's going into my crock pot on high. So it starts in there cold. And during the wow, that was exciting. Just had something drop into the sink from my drain, dish drainer. Okay, that's what we got to look at right now. Anyways, it's in here, ready to go. It's going to go into the crock pot, and I have an oval crock pot, so that allows me to set that in there. And I'm going to check it in about an hour. It usually takes about an hour and 45 minutes or so, and I'll keep an eye on it. And when it's ready, we'll take it out. So, Lloyd Dussel Sr. heading over to the crock pot. Okay, the crock pot is on high. We'll check back in perhaps an hour or so to do a catch-up. And while I do so, Senior checking out, I'm going to have myself some lunch. Well, it's time to take the bread out. Hopefully I can get over to the kitchen without dropping it. This is how the loaf looks right now. Check the camera, make sure it's at least looking at the bread. Oh yeah. It did rise up, and then it did come down a bit in the center. I've been trying something. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn on the broiler before I forget here. And we're going to brown this up on the top just a little bit. Although it looks pretty good as it is right now. But yeah, never hurts. A little butter makes my day. So there we go. And that's what it looks like. I'll slip that off. And I'm going to put it into the oven, and the broiler is on. And at this stage of the game, I keep real close because it's very easy for you to go from broiling to burning. I have found that if I keep a good eye on it and I watch the butter, and when the butter starts to bubble up a little bit and starts to disappear, I keep a real close look at it, or eye on it, I should say. So, I'm going to turn off the camera here while that's doing that, and I shall turn it back on. Well, the broiler has done its job. Looks pretty good. Got a little brown, whoop, don't lose it, on the top. The internal temperature right now is almost 210 degrees inside, 210, 212. So it's just about at the boiling point. And I'd say that's cooked, so that's going to take, well, quite a while to cool down before I can cut it. So we're going to shut this off now and let it cool down, and when we get to the reveal point, I'll bring the camera back on. Producer Salt Senior is going to be checking out. Well, the bread is finally cooled down enough where I can cut it. That's how she looks. And I'm going to give it a go, and I'm cutting backwards for me, so I know. But let's see what happens here. If I can keep my fingers and take a look here what we've got. Well, now that doesn't look too bad. I'll see if I can't get a nice slice up, close up. Oh, let me see if I can get behind the camera and also get a shot of that. That don't look half bad, I'd say. I'll give it a taste test here and see what we got. Okay, I'm going to break off a little chunk. Pretty doggone good, a little crunchy. A little bit of the oatmeal in there. I think this is a keeper recipe. So, while I do so signing out, we're all done. I shouldn't be talking with my mouth full, but hey, I'm 80 years old. You got to give me a little, cut me some slack. But we're done. Tastes great, and hopefully folks will like the recipe and give it a try. Producer Salt Senior checking out.